In the last lecture, we scripted an ARP spoofing attack tool, and we used this successfully to carry out ARP spoofing attack on the Windows 10 machine. Now, in this lecture, we are going to script an ARP spoof detection tool that will help us detect if our computer is under attack. And for that, we have an algorithm here that we are going to follow to create this ARP spoofing detection attack tool. All right, and the aim is we have it here as the aim to develop an ARP spoof detection tool. And we have the algorithm. In the first step, we are going to snip packet from the interface, and then secondly, we are going to check if there's an ARP spoof in place, and then finally, we are going to alert if there is an ARP spoof attack. And for that, we also have a program plan to go with the algorithm. So we are going to create a function get interface to get interface from the to get the interface that we are going to use to snip the packet from. And then secondly, we are going to create a function to actually carry out the snip packet. And then thirdly, we are going to analyze the packet we have snipped, and then we'll also make use of getMark, the getMark address of that a packet contains. All right. So that is what we are going to do in this lecture. So we move over. I have already created a file called arpspoofdetector.py. I have defined a hash bank and a comment, a Python program to detect an ARP spoofing attack. So the first thing we're going to do, we are going to define a function to get interface from the terminal. So I'll just come over here and write defined and get interface. Get interface. All right. So we have been using module argfast to get arguments from the terminal. However, now we are going to introduce another way of getting options from the terminal. Now, instead of using module argfast, I can simply say I can define a variable called iface to represent the name of the interface, and I can say now it is I will invoke, I will assign it with the value of sys.argv, and then the second element of this list. Now, basically what I'm doing here, I am assigning the variable iface with the value of the second element of this list argv from module sys. Now, argv is a list within module sys that contains options that are passed over the command line. So when we call this, invoke this script and then pass options to it over the terminal, now those options are going to be stored in a list called argv. So we know that list begins with index 0. Now index 0 refers to the name of the script that we are using, and in our case arpspoofdetector.py, while 1, which is the second element of the list, refers to the first option that we pass after the name of the script. All right, so we are going to print this out to see how it actually works. So I can also say script name just to test how this argv works. I can say script name equals to sys.argv, and then I'm going to pass it the first element of this list. So I can now print them out. So to see how it works, I can say print iface, and I can also print script name, name. Now save it. Then I'll go down and call this function, and then call the function get interface, and then go to the terminal and then run this script. So I'll just come over here and then I'll run this script. Okay, so we're having a name error. Name sys is not defined because we didn't import the module. So I'll just go over and import the module. So I can say here import sys. So now I have imported the module, and I can just come here, put a comment, import modules, and go over and then run the program and see what we are going to have as output. So I'll come over here again, run the program, and then see what we are going to have as out. Let me clear the screen. CLS, clear the screen, and then now run the program and then see what I'm going to have as an output. All right, perfect. So we have another error, index error, leaks index out of range, because we didn't actually specify the name of the interface, because we say that in our script, we say that argv1 equals to argv1 will contain the name of the first option that we pass after the name of the script. So I'll go over and pass anything, and then I can see interface. Okay, interface, and then I'll hit enter. Alright, perfect. So as we can see, we have the interface that we pass, and we have it here printed out, and we have the name of the script ARP Spoof.py also printed out. So that is a way of accessing command line options using ARGV, a list called ARGV from module 6. Alright. So now, but we are not interested in printing out the names. We are only interested in having the user of this program input the name of the interface via the command line, via the command line option. All right. So, but when the user didn't pass the, we didn't pass the name of the interface, we have an error here, index error, list index out of range. So let's have a way of having the Python program resolve the name of the interface by itself in case the user didn't pass the name of the interface via the command line option. So what I'm going to do now, I'll go over and then now make use of try statement to handle, that is used in handling error, to also handle this error. So I'll just come here and then put all this in a try block. So I'll say try to get the name of the interface as iface equals to sys.argv, the second list of this, the second element of this list, argv. And if the user did not pass the name of the interface as the second list after the name of the script, then an error is going to occur. And that name, I want the Python to accept this error. The error that is going to occur is called index error, as we have seen. So let's go back. The name of the error is index error, leaks index out of range. So this error is going to occur. Now, if this error occur, I want you to accept this error, accept index error, accept index error, and after accepting this index error, I want you to now resolve the name of the interface by yourself using conf.iface. Now, conf.iface is a feature in Malicious that will enable us resolve the name of interface as the default interface that is in use on a computer. So for me to use conf.iface, then I have to come over and also import Malicious. So I'll just come here and import scapy.all as scapy. Okay, so now I have imported Malicious.all as scapy. Now I can use all scapy features in my program. All right. So now, and I have also invoked. All right. So now I can ask this function to return iface for me, whatever way it was able to resolve iface. So I can ask it now. Finally, I will return iface. So return iface. So now this program, this function will return iface for me. So, and then get argument whenever, now when I get interface, now I can create a variable to assign it the value of the iface that get interface function is going to return for me. So I can say iface, I can see iface, and then assign it with the value that get interface function is going to return. So iface equals to get interface. So I can also print it out so that I can see it, whether it has actually been resolved. So let us print it out and then print iface. So, and then we are going to see it on the terminal. So let's go over to the terminal and then run this and see whether we have been able to achieve this. So I'm going to clear the screen. So I'm going to run this and then ARP, hit enter. Okay, so return iface, syntax error, return outside the function. All right, so we have done we have an error, Okay, so indentation, we need the indentation, it has to be outside the function. Perfect. So now save it and then go over and run this script. CLS, clear the screen, and then I can now run it and then see what I'm going to have. Perfect. So we have interface printed out. Now let's run it without adding any command line option, and then hit enter. Perfect. So we have the name of the Windows machine, network interface card, also printed out. So this way we can be able to run this script even if it is on Windows, where we don't have the flexibility of inputting or passing the name of our network interface card over the command line. So Scapy will now get the name of the network interface card and then make it available to our program. So in the next lecture, we are going to see how we can now snip the packet and analyze the packet.